Mick here from Heartbeat Digital. Obviously, I know most of you people who have joined up. Thank you very much for coming on board. This is going to be just a little bit of a reasonably quick spin through some digital marketing terminology and ideas that we use on a day-to-day basis, but could come across perhaps as a little bit jargony. So what we're trying to do with this series of webinars throughout this year is demystify some of this stuff. And so, you know, when we speak to you about and take you through your reports and such, that you can sort of know what we're talking about, and yeah, we can get even better results for you. So demystifying digital marketing with me, Mick. Email me, it's mick@heartbeatdigital.com.au. Topics we're going to cover in this webinar, pretty briefly on all of them, unfortunately, because we could talk for an hour on each of them. First thing we'll talk about is what's the CTR. You might see this on your reports. You might hear people talking about it in digital marketing world. We're going to cover what that is. We're going to cover what is a conversion. We're going to talk about website traffic and how do we measure it. We're going to talk about bounce rate. What does it mean? And we're going to talk about rankings and how we measure them. So digital marketing, of course, is pretty complicated. There's lots of moving parts, but we always think that the way to think about it in its most simple form is traffic, rankings, and conversions. That's how we think about it. That's how we simplify it down to its purest form. So CTR is an important part of that, and that's our next slide. So CTR means click-through rate. So a click-through rate, what is it? Why is it important? And where can we improve it? So the click-through rate, as a brief explanation, it's one of the most important metrics to track is the click-through rate, also known as a CTR. This metric measures the number of clicks on a search listing or ad divided by the total number of impressions or views. So put simply, if your ad or search listing is displayed 100 times and 6 people click on it, you will have a click-through rate of 6%. A high CTR is desirable because it indicates that your ad or search listing is engaging and relevant to your target audience. A low CTR can indicate that your ad is not resonating with the audience and may require adjustments. Factors that can affect CTR include relevance, messaging, targeting, placement, a whole bunch of things. By monitoring and optimizing CTRs, which is what we absolutely do, we can improve the effectiveness of your search listings and ad campaigns and ultimately drive more traffic and conversions. So click-through rate is one of the big things that we look at with any campaign that we run. Click-through rates for organic search listings will always be slightly lower than they are for paid ads. And during this presentation, by the way, I'm going to jump around a bit. So I'm not just going to be on this this screen here, this actual presentation. I'm going to jump into some of the actual things, tools that we use out of this presentation now quickly. And CTR, click-through rate. How do we measure it? For organic click-through rate, CTR, we use something called Google Search Console. For Google Ads, we use the Google Ads platform. Now, I'm not going to go into Google Ads platform today because it's too complicated. We've got a little bit too much intellectual property in there, but I'll show you the Google Ads, our reporting platform that draws in the data from Google Ads. So first off, organic CTR, organic click-through rate. So to measure this, we use a system called Google Search Console. Now, Google Search Console is totally free if you have the time and inclination. You can certainly learn how to use Google Search Console for yourself. You just go to search.google.com and then you can verify your website, which is done reasonably easily just by putting a tag on it. And here you will find a hell of a lot of information about your website as relating to search. So just purely to when people search in Google, everything that happens in there is recorded for you in Google Search Console. Now, the website we're looking at is a little bit of we've set up a little Heartbeat Digital sandbox view for this. to show you how to find the click-through rate. So if we go to this dummy account we've set up for our own website, you'll see that the average click-through rate for this website is 0.3%, which is not a very high click-through rate. It's had 122,000 impressions, 310 clicks. That's in the last 3 months. So 0.3% is not a high click-through rate. You'd be aiming for higher than that. But if you can also filter this view. So if we go down to and see the queries. So if people search for Heartbeat Digital, that obviously know who we are. So they're searching via our brand name. Go to Heartbeat Digital. If we filter by that, you can see that the click-through rate for that query is 14.5%, which is a very high click-through rate. Excellent click-through rate, actually. And the average position means that we're average rank for that term is 2. So we're second rank for Heartbeat Digital. I'm not sure why we're second, but we should be first, but that's not too big a concern. So just also, I should a disclaimer about this. We're getting this data from our own website, which has only been live, I think, for 12 months, so it hasn't been worked on actively. So I've got a bunch of other websites over here I can't show you because they're all our clients, but a click-through rate, 3 or 4%, is really high. And the higher the click-through rate, the better. And I'm going to show you some techniques to improve it in 1 second. But just to show you under the hood, search.google.com. This is Google Search Console. This is something that every digital marketer, every SEO person uses on a daily basis and gives you some really, really good insights. There could be a whole webinar just on this program, but we don't have time for that today. I'm going to show you now Google Ads, how it's measured. We measure click-through rate in Google Ads. Again, I'm not going to go into the actual Google Ads program. Rather, I'm going to go into our reporting program, which draws in data from Google Ads. So you can see the last 30 days for the Heartbeat Digital campaign we've set up. The ads have a click-through rate of 6.15%. And as expected, ads campaigns always get a higher click-through rate, but that's something that we look to optimize all the time. Okay, so click-through rate, we know it's important. I've shown you how to measure it. Now, I guess the real name of the game here is how can we improve it? The first answer, particularly when we talk about organic click-through rate, that is unpaid, the number one way you can improve your click-through rate is to rank higher. I'll show you my next slide, which goes into a bit more detail about this, but yeah, ranking higher is your number one go-to system for getting more clicks. The other thing you can do, especially in regards to organic, is you can work on your meta title and description. So that's basically what we call search appearance. That's how your listing is actually displayed in Google when someone searches for it. Another thing you can do to help CTR is make sure your website loads quickly. So to my first point about rankings and click-through rate, the number one way you can improve your organic click-through rate is to rank higher. So here's some stats that I've dug up. These are particular actually to the healthcare industry. Now but for every industry the trend is very similar. So the click-through rate for the number one, so that along the bottom axis here, the x-axis, this is your position or ranking. So it's number 1 in Google, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. And the y-axis is the percentage of clicks that this position gets. So position 1 gets 22.56%, position 2, 13.3, position 3, 10.2, position 4, 6, and down and down and down it goes. So, and after page 1, so this is just page 1, after page 1, it's barely any clicks. So your chances of getting people clicking through to your website are greatly enhanced if you can get in this top position, or top 3 or 4 at least. And tip we have about improving your click-through rate, again, this is for organic listings, is to make sure you optimize your search listing. So this is like, if you think about the yellow pages like it used to be, this is where this is your actual listing. So I found an example here from these guys that do roof and gutter cleaning services in Melbourne, Hawthorne and Kew. And I thought it was an excellent example of someone who's actually written a good title tag, which you only have about 60 characters to do so, and then a good meta description, which you have about 150 characters. So that is your chance to make a compelling and persuasive case for people to click on your listing rather than someone else's. So this is your chance to tell Google and potential customers that that you are the people that should be clicked on. Now, this section here, this title tag meta description is something that professional SEO people spend a lot of time working, maybe too much time. So in your website, presuming you use WordPress, a lot of you will be using, you can access this via, if you use the plugin called Yoast, you can write these very easily and preview what they'll look like. Probably should also say that Google, in its infinite wisdom, has come up with a system whereby even if you write your own meta descriptions and tags, title tags, Google will sometimes make the decision that it will choose what to display here instead. And that's their prerogative, I guess. But what you should do is make sure that when you find your business on Google, that it has these well-written title meta descriptions that aren't truncated as well. You don't want it to have it be cut off ... Now, I'll show you some. I did some quick searching around before this webinar, just to show you what these some good examples, and I think some not so good examples. So I went to Google and I typed in GP in Bendigo, Victoria, Australia, just to show you what some good and maybe some not so good versions of these look like. So not looking at the map pack here, I'm going down here. So here is this the gpclinic.com.au. Their title just says Our Doctors, and their meta description is just a list of doctors. Now, I don't know the people who did this website. I'm sure it's a great website, it's great business and everything, but for me, that doesn't quite present a compelling case for me to click on here. You should be saying, as I said over here, you should say, need to tell Google and your potential customer what you offer, where you are located, and why they should click on you. So this just says Our Doctors. I have no idea, apart from going up here to see this little title, GP Clinic, I don't know what to expect when I click on this. This one below is better. I think it's actually the same business. GP Clinic Bendigo, personalized family medical care. For me, that's a way better title meta. And I would be more inclined to click on this. If we look down here, this one's better. Again, general practitioner clinic Bendigo. I don't think they need the word clinic there, but that's okay. You can see it's also just slightly truncated. It's got the ... at the end. Bendigo Doctors, I think, is good, but they've got a lot of room here. They could have made a more compelling case. And I'll show you one of these that is, I'll see if I can find one, maybe Touré. Yeah, see, this is a good example of a title tag that's kind of like just unnecessary. Here we have homepage, Toorak Medical Center, general medical. The fact they have homepage written there is totally pointless and just as a waste, because you only have this certain little amount of space you can make your case, and they've sort of written homepage there, which is totally unnecessary. Now, again, I don't know who did that website. I'm sure they're great and everything, but We would take a different approach to that, because as I said, you only have this tiny opportunity to get people to click on your listing, and you need to make the case as strongly as you can, tell people what you offer, where you offer it, and any other persuasive information you can put in there. Click now, call now, book online, free initial consult, whatever it is, put that in your listing. Really what you need to do is make sure that the ad you're displaying is relevant, that the ads are well written. Again, similar to this organic listing, you've only got a very small amount of space, very limited number of text you can use, and the trick is to write good ads, relevant ads, and make sure that people are clicking on yours rather than your opposition. And that's really, I said, one of the key differences between having people who do this professionally like we do, and just people who just do a Google Ads campaign and have no idea what they're doing. Okay, so that's my brief run through of click-through rate. Again, click-through rate is if your ad is displayed, ad or listing is displayed 100 times, 6 people click on it, that's a 6% click-through rate. And it's something that is absolutely monitored by us and optimized as much as we can. Okay, now I've babbled on too far. We've got a few more topics to cover, so we're 25 minutes in already. Let's go on to the next one, rankings. What are rankings and how do we measure them? I think most of you would be familiar with the idea of rankings. So basically, if we go down to the next slide here, I'll just quickly show you. If I type in cosmetic clinic Brisbane, these are the results that come up. That's the first ranking. That's the second rank, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Now, I'll just read briefly through this. So website search rankings refer to the position of a website's pages in the search engine results. You'll hear this referred to as the SERPs, search engine results page, or specific keywords or search phrases. In other words, it's where your website appears in search results when someone searches for relevant terms. Search rankings are important because they can impact the amount of organic traffic a website receives. Websites that rank higher in search results are more likely to receive clicks and visits from users. It's also worth noting that the majority of users never look beyond the first page of search results. So ranking on the first page is very, very important. Now, again, this is not talking about paid stuff. This is organic rankings I'm talking about here. And it's probably worth noting also that organic rankings will always appear below ads. If someone's paying to appear for keywords in your area, say GP Clinic Bendigo again, and someone's paying for ads for that, they will appear above you. There'll be a small thing that says ad next to it. But that's just how Google works. Again, here's the example, Cosmetic Clinic Brisbane. This is what comes up. brisbanecosmetic.com.au. It's a great domain name, so they've done well. Cosmetic Surgery Brisbane, good listing. Yep, they all look like they have had someone work on their SEO, because they have, to me, they look like optimized title and meta descriptions. But they could all be improved also, in my opinion. Now, rankings, if you know anything about this area, we call it the beast that never sleeps. So they fluctuate wildly. You might be ranking number 1, 2, 3 for the search terms that you desire, and then the next month you're not. There are so many ranking signals that Google takes into account, and they change all the time. So Google's algorithm gets updated God knows how many times. I mean, officially they say 200 or 300 times a year, but who even knows? But it's something that you need to constantly work on, and you need to just update your website, make sure that it loads quickly, always have relevant, regularly updated content. If you just put your website up there with 6, 7 pages and never even think about it ever again for the next 5 years, I can guarantee it will slip in the rankings. And all you need is 1 or 2 competitors to start trying. So you might have been dominating maybe you're in a small town and you've got the only GP clinic there, or the only business there that sells tires or whatever. All you need is one person to start trying, and you will notice that rather than getting 22% of those clicks because you're ranking number 1, you slide down to number 5, number 6. All of a sudden, you start getting 6 or 7% of the clicks, and that results in the loss of business. SEO rankings, that there is actual measurable ROI from that. It's complicated to get to it, but it's absolutely measurable. So rankings, we track them. There are a number of ways to track Google rankings. We use professional SEO software to track them, but we also, it's called Ahrefs is the system we use. We also can track all, again, this is the account we've set up for this presentation. So if I go to our reporting module we use, go to rank tracker, we'll see it's a Heartbeat Digital website that in the last 30 days there's been a Google change, or a negative one, 229 aggregate down. But we can see here that for marketing PPC, that keyword, we've come up 17 spots, 58 ranking. Obviously, this is not something that we haven't really optimized this yet, but that's just an example of how we can track these keywords over time. And there are also, so we manually input these keywords, but there are other systems that we use as well, which do this automatically for you. A number of options if you wanted to explore it yourself. There's Ahrefs, there's Moz, there's SEMrush, a lot of professional level SEO platforms, software, but I can tell you they all cost a lot of money. And that's one of the things that we do on your behalf. So all these things we use to track and monitor are expensive. That is not true of Google products, by the way. So we use Google Analytics extensively, Google Tag Manager, Google Search Console. They're all free, 100% free to use. You just need a lot of time and expertise to use them. So rankings, again, just a quick overview. They're really important, and you've got to constantly monitor them, which is annoying, but can't be ignored, because if you ignore it, you're just letting your competitors just step all over you. So one of the next fundamental parts of the whole digital marketing world, again, is website traffic. Now, when we say traffic, we just mean people coming to your website. So what is it? How do we measure it? Website traffic refers to the number of visitors that come to a website and the amount of data they consume. In general, the more traffic a website has, the more successful it is considered to be. More people coming to your website, clearly better than less people. Obviously, we want the right people coming there, but and you want to get the right audience coming in, but if you have 200 people coming to your website a month, then it's really giving you very little chance to do anything with it. It's important for businesses and website owners because it can help understand how the website is performing and identify areas for improvement and make data-driven decisions. To measure website traffic, we use Google Analytics. There are other systems, but Google Analytics is the industry standard. To do this, you need to set up an account, add a tracking code to your website, and once this is done, you can access a wealth of data about your website's traffic. And again, you need more people to come into your website so you can start making good decisions about what you should do with the website. And really, if you don't have Google Analytics or something similar on your website, and you don't know what pages are popular, what people are doing when they hit the website, then really you're just flying blind. You have no idea what's happening. So what are some of the things we measure? So we measure something called a session. This measures the number of visits to your website. A session is defined as a single user interacting with your website during a set period of time. You see this come up on your reports, sessions. Users, this measures the number of unique visitors to your website. It tells you how many different people have visited your site. Page views measures the total number of pages viewed on your website. It includes both unique and repeat views. So your page views will often be the highest metric on your website. And you might only had 1,000 sessions and you might get 5,000 page views, depending on how many pages your users visit. Obviously, the more the better. Bounce rate. So this is one we mentioned in the introduction. This measures the percentage of visitors who leave your website after viewing only one page. A high bounce rate is bad. So the lower the bounce rate, the better. High bounce rate can indicate that your website is not engaging or relevant to your target audience. So that's another metric we monitor quite closely. It's not the be all and end all. It can fluctuate a little bit, but yeah, in general, lower the bounce rate, the better. And it's something that Google uses as a ranking signal as well. If people come into your website, see it for 10 seconds, then bounce straight off. Google uses that as a ranking signal to think, oh, well, maybe these guys aren't offering the result that our users want, so we're not going to rank them highly. There's a ton of other things we can measure with Google Analytics: session duration, how long people are on your website for. Longer is better. Source, medium. This metric measures when your website traffic, where it's coming from, and that's a really important one for us, particularly with most of our clients. We will be running campaigns across a number of different funnels. So, namely, quite often Google Ads, social media, organic, EDMs, so that's emails. So we need to know, of the 5,000 people who come into your website, where they're coming from. So I'll just actually show you a little bit under the hood, if you're interested in analytics, just to show you a little bit beneath the bonnet of what we do. So again, this is a Heartbeat Digital, so I'm not showing anyone else's data here. So this is Google Analytics. If you want to set this up yourself, you're more than welcome to do so. You need to have a Gmail, a Google account. You can set up a Google Analytics account, then you need to put tracking code on your website, and then you can view all this data. It can be overwhelming when you first come in here, mind you. So yeah, I think you're probably better off getting us to do it. That's my opinion. So you'll come in here to your Google Analytics account, analytics.google.com, and you'll see I'm going to make this. Yeah, I've got the date range set here to last 30 days. Oops. I'll just let's cancel that, and I'll just see here that all users. It'll come up with some pretty easy. I've just clicked on audience, by the way. Some pretty easy to read sort of stats here. So we've had 585 users, 570 into those were new users, 2,423 page views, and a bounce rate of 1.2%, which is unbelievably low. You see a lot of websites have bounce rates of like 60–70%. Is not out of the ordinary. If we go down to acquisition here, we can see an overview of where this traffic is coming from. So we're running Google Ads to this website. We can see that paid search, Google Ads, is accounting for 61% of our website users. Organic search, 117. Direct, that means how many people are actually typing in the actual domain. Social media, we've had 20 people come through from social media. Referral means a link, so we haven't had a lot of people come through from links. And the email, we've had, I think, 1 or 2 people come through from email. You can also see how many have converted here. So we've had conversion, which is our next thing we're going to talk about quickly. See here the completions here via paid search, but the conversions are very high as well. So we run a Google Ads campaign to our website, and you can see here very clearly it is responsible for a lot of our traffic. Now, some of you people watching this webinar, I know we don't do Google Ads for all of you. We do Google Ads for some of you. In my opinion, it's particularly for a new website, like a new website like the one we're looking at here, it's very new. Takes time for organic SEO to kick in. So, and we haven't done much of that yet, to be honest with you, because we're too busy looking after our clients. So Google Ads are an incredibly effective tool to drive results for your business quickly. We also run Google Ads for several of our clients who are well established and have good organic SEO, but they're having the paid search aspect as well has been very valuable to them. And we can see those results very clearly, because if you say, for example, you spend $2,000 on a Google Ads campaign, and your average, and then you can put in the value of what your appointment or your product is, and we can see what the money in is, so $2,000, for example, and then we can see the results that causes, and we can see very clearly that that there's an ROI, pretty much a positive ROI for every single client that we do Google Ads for. And I would say that for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm kind of going off into a different topic here, but we'll definitely cover this in one of our next webinars. But if you're not doing Google Ads and your competitors are, you have to be cool with them getting a bunch of clicks that you should have got, a lot of business that you could have got. And I think some people think of Google Ads as just this cost, but it has massive returns as well. Conversions, they're the last thing we're going to speak about before we wrap this up. So conversions, what is a conversion and why are they so important? In digital marketing, website conversions refer to the specific actions that a website visitor takes that are valuable to a business or website owner. These actions are usually aligned with the goals of the website or business, such as making a purchase, filling out a form, subscribing to a newsletter, making a phone call, making an online booking, downloading a brochure, whatever it is that is decided is an action that is valuable to you, to us. So if you are a GP clinic, which we've been talking about today, obviously one of the most valuable conversions you can get is a online booking, which we can measure in most instances. If you are in another field, maybe one of the most valuable things that can happen for you is that you will get someone's email address, a lead. So lead generation. Maybe you'll get one of your brochures downloaded. Maybe you'll have someone sign up to your mailing list. So maybe you will have someone call you, so on their phone. If someone Googles for a service, your service comes up, they click on the phone number on their mobile phone, it goes through to you. We can measure that as well. That's a conversion. So conversions are really the pointy end of digital marketing. If we can throw 10,000 users at your website in a month and none of them convert, none of them take any action that is valuable to you, then it's kind of like a failed. That's really how we measure success, is through conversions. They are the most important part of digital marketing, and that's where I guess the returns come. How do we measure conversions and how do we improve them? So that's kind of like the golden question. It's like, how do you write a hit song? How do you write a #1 box office hit movie? I mean, it's not easy, and it's something that agencies like us work on a lot. That's the how do we improve them aspect of it. So how do we measure them? That's easy. We measure conversions with Google Analytics, Google Ads, and we also use another platform called Google Tag Manager extensively, which I'm not going to show you really inside of because it's too complicated and probably boring, and you won't get that much out of it. I'm going to show you actually a conversion I've set up for our website. I'm going to show you how we measure it. Hopefully you find it interesting. A basic guide about how to improve conversions though, but this could be like War and Peace really, but I'm going to give you 3 points here. Improve conversions. Well, one thing you should do is improve the user experience. So a user-friendly website that is easy to navigate, visually appealing, will keep visitors engaged and more likely to convert. Simplify the process of the conversion. Reduce the number of clicks required to complete a purchase, a booking, or a call. Optimize your website for mobile devices as more and more people using smartphones to browse the web. So you really have to have your website perfect on a mobile phone. The days of not having mobile optimized websites are there, long gone. And also, it's much easier to get a phone call conversion from a mobile device for obvious reasons. The second way to improve conversions is to make sure you've got a great landing page. So a landing page is relevant to a user search query or ad copy will improve the likelihood of conversion. Make sure your landing pages include clear calls to action. That's a CTA. That's something we probably should have covered also. Another acronym, CTA, call to action. You know, book now button, download now, get in touch. That's a CTA. Call us. So CTAs encourage visitors to take action. And you should test different versions of your landing pages to see what works best for your audience. Now, a landing page may be terminology you are familiar with or not. So landing pages are more commonly used with Google Ads, with ads campaigns. So if we get an ads customer and we have a very specific task to do for that website, which is, for example, we need to hire workers for a company. That's a recruiting campaign. We will build a landing page which is perfectly optimized to work in cooperation with the ads campaign that we are running. So we will make that page have relevant information that cooperates perfectly, corresponds perfectly with the Google ad that we run. And when people click on the ad, they get through to the page. There is a clear call to action. There's good bite-sized information that encourages people to convert. You know, make the call, submit the form, download the brochure, give you their email address, whatever it is you desire. And that's something that agencies like us spend a lot of time doing. So we make a lot of landing pages. And it's probably worth noting here as well that in terms of Google Ads and landing pages, the better you make your landing page, the cheaper the click can get. So there's something called a quality score. And so Google Ads will look at your page and see, you know, if it's not relevant or it doesn't have correct keywords, doesn't have the right information on it, you'll get a low quality score, bad ad rank, and you will pay more for the click. So it is really in your interest to make sure that your landing pages are really good. Another thing, again, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but another way to make sure you improve your conversions is to provide valuable content. Websites can establish trust and build authority by providing high quality, valuable content or offering useful information. Visitors are more likely to engage the website, spend more time on it, and return for future visits. The more valuable the content, the more likely visitors will be to convert into leads. So you need good quality, relevant, updated, regular content on your website, landing page, and that will help everything enormously. On our website here, I've set up this page, so heartbeatdigital.com.au webinar sign up. So this is not something I made this specifically for this webinar. Text we have here, and then I've set up this dummy form to register. Now, when you register on this form, I have it set up that it's going to take you to a different page, a thank you page. And when that thank you page is visited, that's going to fire a conversion or a goal. In Google Analytics, it's called a goal. So I'm going back into our Google Analytics account here. I'm going to show you this. You can set it up yourself if you like. You go to goals. We'll go to admin, goals, and then I've already set it up before, but I've got it here. The goal is webinar conversion. I've got it through here. Yeah, webinar conversion. And The type of conversion is a destination. So the destination I've set up is this page. Thanks for signing up. Okay, so I save this. That's my goal. That's my conversion. Now let's see if that records. Let's see if I've set that up correctly. So Google Analytics there's a really cool thing here where you go real time. So you can see things that are happening on your website as they actually happen. And I'm going to go to conversions here. And I'm going to see if there's any conversions in the last 5 minutes. And 0. Nothing has happened in the last 5 minutes on our website, which is very disappointing, but I'll have to live with it. So I'm going to go now to our website. I'm going to read this very well written and persuasive copy about why you should come to our webinar. I'm going to put my name in, put my email address in. Now, hopefully this is not like one of those things that go wrong like on live TV when something goes wrong, but I'm going to sign up. And then hopefully when I go back to the analytics account, it'll show that conversion. And that is a really simplified way of showing you how we measure this stuff. So, all right, here we go. Sign up. Fingers crossed that all works. Okay, the form was sent 6. Oh, thank you. I've come through to the thank you page that I've set up. Thanks for signing up. No problems. I can't wait to go to this webinar. All right, here we go. And look at that. Boom. There is my conversion. Webinar conversion 1. And there it is. Perfect. Okay, so that is a really simplified version of how we measure conversions for our clients. I'll show you a quick example too of this is what when I was speaking about landing pages, right? This is a client we had a couple of years ago that they're called Cyton. They're a big cosmetic company in the States. They launched their product called BBL Hero in Australia. We were hired to make a landing page. So this page that we designed here was never intended to rank organically. It's just purely something that we made to receive ads that we produced. So we produced a series of Google ads, and then we made this landing page with a lot of relevant information on it, a lot of persuasive copy, a lot of buttons that say get in touch, and that would encourage people to fill out this form. The conversion we had from this website was a form fill out. It was like this form here, just like I showed you. And the whole page is perfectly designed to get conversions. Now, this was a very successful campaign, and one of these things costs like 50 grand or something. So we sold a few of them, which is very effective, obviously, and everyone's very happy. But that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a landing page, really. So we don't use landing pages for all Google Ads campaigns. Sometimes we just, what's on the current website is sufficient, and we will maybe just tweak what's on your website. Maybe you're running a skin checks thing. Maybe you're running whatever, you're a tire manufacturer, you're running a new campaign for a new set of tires. I'm not sure, but we will sometimes create a whole new landing page like for this project, or sometimes we will just go into your existing page and tweak it. And it's also important to note that when we do this stuff, we don't just do a landing page and then say, forget about it. All right, we'll check what happened next month. We work on it all the time, tweak it, put in new keywords, take out some keywords, put the button a bit higher up the page, put the form higher up the page, put the form lower down the page, all this sort of stuff. It's this constant dance, and you would be amazed at how much difference small changes can make. So just wrapping up, hope you found this interesting. If you're growing your clinical business through digital marketing, it can seem overwhelming, but the rewards are obvious and they're measurable, which is a really big thing that we think is really important. ROI from SEO is understood and undervalued, has a real effect on the bottom line, because the higher you rank, the more people click through, the more people convert. Digital marketing allows you to reach people when they need or want your services. So that's Google Ads, I think, is SEO as well, but for Google Ads, that is so incredibly valuable that if someone wants your service, they type it in the search bar and your ad appears at the top. That is like gold. And you get heaps of data back from it, and we can make decisions about what to do next. A good website that converts is incredibly important. You don't, if you're doing SEO, Google Ads, social media, EDMs, all this stuff, and you're sending them all to a terrible website, then there's just no point. You need to make sure that when they arrive at the website, that they are persuaded to take an action, and that's through with conversion. Seriously consider a PPC campaign. PPC means Google Ads or Facebook ads or anything, but mainly Google Ads. Especially if you have a high value service, you don't need many conversions to achieve extremely high returns. If you hire an agency, make sure they understand the challenges of the industry that you're in. Most of our clients are in the healthcare industry. We do other stuff as well, but we have a huge amount of intellectual property, around that industry. Use your data to make decisions. Don't just sort of get a feeling one day that, oh geez, I think we should turn our Google Ads off. Oh geez, I wonder if we should get rid of that page. Like, it's just not wise. You need to make your decisions based on what's happening on the website. And the only way you can do that is to get Google Analytics on there and get an idea of what's actually happening on there. The other thing, just lastly, I say none of this is a silver bullet. It all takes time. Quick wins are rare, but if you need immediate results, you should pursue Google Ads. I hope this has been somewhat interesting for you guys. I'm about to wrap it up now.